Hey everybody, you know what day it is, you know what time it is. Yes, it's time for Syntax Live. How's everybody doing tonight? I don't know about you, but I'm tired as hell. So, and that's just because things have been a little crazy around here the past, well, almost entire week, which I do have to say that's the reason why I haven't got a lot of stories out recently. I had at least 2.5 days, so my nieces were here and I couldn't do anything. And then my nephew showed up later and he was having issues, so I had to deal with that. Hey, it is what it is. We all got our issues. So I just want to put that out because guess what? If I'm busy, I'm busy. I wish I could put stuff out. But on that same note, I would like to say that there is, in fact, a story dropping tonight. It is fairly long. It is over 30 minutes. How do I know it's 30 minutes? Well, I just finished recording it. And by the way, here's the notes for that one story. That's oh Jesus, my hand still hurts from trying to write that shit. It does take a much because I have to do it out longhand. I can't type. I wish I could. I can't. I tried. Thanks to a wonderful flu shot that fried the gray matter here, it messed me up something fierce. I know some people don't believe that, but I had a reaction to the flu shot, and I went from being able to type about 50 words a minute down to maybe 20 if I'm lucky. And it's just quicker and easier to just do it longhand. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. So I see a lot of people are in, and a few people already saying that they don't have a lot of time. And honestly, I don't expect to be on too long. So I'm going to start hitting my notes. I definitely am short on the notes today because nobody really gave a lot of critiques this week. I get most of my notes from the comment section, and not a lot of critiques, comments, concerns, complaints, except for, hey, I like this, waiting for the next one, and a few conjectures here. I think this is what's going to happen. So before I get too off the hook, I'm going to pop the top, throw that in the trash, and raise a drink to everybody's health out there. I hope you all are doing wonderfully. So, on that note, I will say I will be trying to get the chapters out as fast as I can. We're getting towards we're past the halfway point, and if you had known, and you're about to find out in a day or two exactly why that name was chosen. So, let's see. I'm following my notes here, timelines. Okay, I just talked about that. Additional chapters. Just remember that other stories, as soon as this one is done, I'm going to go through, and any ones in my notes that you guys have sent me. This is all the live notes here that I keep them. I don't throw my notes out anymore. Anything you guys requested on as far as stories to continue on, if I can continue them, I'm going to do it. Just the way it is. So, let's see. I hit not a lot of critiques, so I must be doing something right. I hope so. And I just popped my neck and that hurt. Ow. Sorry guys. Ouch. So, on the next one, I do want to thank any additional viewers that have come in, any subscribers, anybody who has come in, left a like, left even a comment. Even if that comment was, you sound like you're talking in a tin can. I'm sorry, but I don't have the office set up yet. I'm working on it. Unfortunately, I just had to redesign it because something is taking up maybe 30% of that spot, which is mandatory to put in the house. So, I mean, it is what it is. As soon as I get the office, I'm going to do all the soundproofing and everything like that to make better content. There's only so much I can do with the audio settings in this room. I mean, I can't cover myself up with a blanket to try and mimic it or to silence anything, because then I can't read my notes. I got to read the notes when I'm going because it's just the way it is. So, yeah, I'm saying that a lot, ain't I? You take a drink every time I say so. So, here we go. Let's see. Also, I wanted to go over the movie references. A few of you, you like that, come get some, you're all gonna die, I had at the end. And wow, that just literally slapped me in the face, Hamish. You seriously, $20, New Zealand, the first super chat of the night. Thank you so much. You guys keep my lights on every time you do that. Okay, Hamer says, cheers, brother. Cheers to you, Hamish. Thank you so much for the videos. You doing well, and always understand any personal stuff that comes up for you, bro. Yeah, I know you understand. I know you're all smart people. You have to be to understand what I write. And yeah, I'm just letting you know it's the reason why I haven't been able to pump content out. I was hoping to do it during syrup season, where I'd sit there next to the fire and just jot down the notes while I'm waiting to put another scoop of sap in it. And if you don't know how to make syrup, that's what you do. You boil sap down. And unfortunately, when somebody's like right next to me, and you ask anybody who writes, you got to have certain criteria for you to actually focus on what you're doing. Very few people I know of can have a full conversation going on behind them and they can write. So I was hoping to be out there writing, but people keep showing up. I mean, it is what it is. And I hope everybody else has all their friends showing up and doing all sorts of good things. So also movie references. If one, I just want to ask you guys to make sure if I do a movie reference that is either just straight up not funny, out of context, or inappropriate, you guys got to let me know. Okay. The critiques are important. I want to keep making better quality videos, better quality stories for you. If people don't put it in, I don't know about it. It's the same thing when I was a drill sergeant. We had one, I'm not going to say her last name because she was just a nice person. I don't know what the hell she was doing in basic training, but I kid you not, we're out of the range and we couldn't get her qualified for nothing, for absolutely nothing. We're like, what the hell is wrong here? She would cloverleaf the shots at 200 meters, and that is impressive shooting. And then the next two shots, they'd be off somewhere else. We're like, what is wrong? We couldn't figure it out. Finally, I go up. There's some extra ammo. I get to shoot. I get her weapon. And I go up, I'm down in the prone position. I fire a couple rounds. Next thing I know, the optic shuts off. I'm like, what the hell? I go, I got to turn it off, turn it on. Now, granted, that takes time and it's timed. The targets are popping up and down. You only have a few seconds to actually, shoot their dick off. And it wasn't working. I get halfway up. I stand up. I just drop the rest of the ammo. I scream, I'm not going to say her name. I want to, but what the fuck is wrong with your weapon? It's broken, drill sergeant. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to be a bother, drill sergeant. I can't fix it if I don't know it's broke. Oh. It's just, if you've ever been around kids, it's the same thing. Unfortunately, a lot of kids nowadays are 20-year-olds with a 5-year-old's brain. A lot of people don't grow up, and it is unfortunate. And that is actually one of the things I brought in for the if we had known is they've been sheltered for generations. That species has been sheltered. They don't understand the way the universe works anymore. We as humans in that story have been literally thrown into the mix head first into a wall, through the brick, to the concrete. I mean, we're getting more hits than a JDAM going on a sled test. I mean, it's crazy. If you don't know that reference, I suggest you look up the Chubby Sparky on YouTube, also known as the Fat Electrician. I'm sure a lot of you know about him. He's funny. I wish I was that funny. I'm not that funny, and I'm not that fat either. So it is what it is. I will say this. He's so far only one of his videos to me has flopped. I personally couldn't give a shit about Aldi's. So if you're listening, Chubby Sparky, I don't give a shit about a freaking grocery store. Stick to what you're good at, which is military-based stuff. Because when he does that, it's great. Just like I can't do rom-coms. I've tried. People, do not ask me for a romance comedy. Okay, the closest you get is an HFY where you got two species that are together and they somehow kind of make it work. But as for sticking with those characters, I do not have enough psychopathic tendencies in my body to actually write people like that. You want to see a scary movie, watch rom-coms. Everyone's trying to not only stab each other in the back, but they're trying to twist that knife and shove it all the way from your butt to your brain. I mean, it's crazy how bad they are. Now, on to that, I'm going to go through the super chats really quick here. We really don't have a lot tonight. Like I said, I don't have squat for notes. Again, I get my notes off of you guys. And if nobody sends me a critique, I don't know I did anything wrong. And if I don't understand something, that's definitely when I want to bring things up to you guys. So you can put in your 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 cents here and let me know. So let's see. Going down. Let's see. Yep, I saw that, Demon. You don't have any mandatory overtime. Wow, are they cracking that whip any harder there, Demon? Whoosh. I thought that's what the wife was for. Anyway, okay. Amy said, getting the popcorn. Don't worry about things. Okay, wow, we're going down really quick. There's Hamish's super chat right there. Let's see. Worst neighbor, if you do a movie reference, the question is, have we seen it? Thinking. Okay. Oh, the movie reference right there. I will tell you exactly where it's from. It's from one of those god-awful Transformers movies. John Goodman did the voice of Ironhide. And when he's in a firefight, he's literally at no fucks given mode, and which is one of the best scenes you'll ever see in any shoot 'em up movie. When somebody's at no fucks given, just like the guy in Aliens, when he starts like wasting them, Mr. Game over, man, game over. He starts when he does that one scene. He's like, "Bring it on, guy, come here. You want some? You want some?" And just, yeah, it's just it was just a good scene. But one good scene does not make a movie. By the way, that movie forget kind of. It was terrible. It was just terrible. It was straight CGI. I'm hoping that the Kong and Zilla movie, where they work together, even though that's going to be straight CGI, I hope that one doesn't suck. That looks weird. I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's just weird. Okay. Let's see. Demon says, I don't normally ask for help unless I have no other choice. Kind of just how I was raised. And well work treats everything like a brother. Okay. Hey, great. It's the way Sun Tzu said, and I took it to heart. He said, treat your soldiers like your own begotten sons, and they will follow you even unto hell. So, yeah, that's always good. Let's see. Demon also says references are awesome. I'm trying to figure out where they're from. A few I would love to do references from a lot of Mel Brooks stuff, in particular Blazing Saddles, which is one of the funniest freaking movies you will ever see in your life. If anybody here is outside the US, for the love of all that is holy, watch Blazing Saddles. It is one of the funniest movies you'll ever have. If you're ever actually get a chance to see the director's cut, where Mel Brooks didn't have to chop a whole bunch of the really, really holy crap over the top humor, you'll damn near piss yourself laughing. It is that good. Okay. There's only been since him, only one other group that's made a good satire franchise, and that's the Wayans brothers. I don't like them as individuals, but I think they make great directors and they do great at satire. I mean, holy shit. So, also referencing movies, I did go see The Beekeeper. It's a standard shoot 'em up, which is kind of dumb. For military guys, it doesn't pass the sniff test, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch. That is what it is. Demon says, I grew up with Gojira. It's actually Gojira, which is Japanese for metal band, but I pray they don't do my boy dirty. Well, considering he lives in the ocean, I don't think he can get dirty. So sorry, just had to think of something goofy to say. But you're right. I hope they don't screw that up. I have a feeling they're going to screw it up. I hope to God they don't go woke. Just don't go woke. That's all I ask. Don't go woke. Erica is talking about Pizza the Hut. he needs $1 million space bucks. At least don't get caught inside a car with him. You'll only have one food source, and that's kind of messed up. Let's see. Sniper says, I would like to see some sleep stories that come out 2000 EU time, what you did in the past. Is that I'd have to do some math to find out when those are. I thought the EU covered like 4 time zones or something like that. Are you talking straight up through London time zone here, or you'd have to specify where? But yeah, I could definitely do that. I didn't know my voice put you to sleep there, Sniper. Holy shit. Good thing we're not out on patrol. You'd fall over constantly if I started talking. But yeah, the Netherlands. Okay. I'll see what I'm going to write that down. Netherlands time zone. Netherlands time zone. 2000. Got it. I still talk that way. 2000, 2200, stuff like that. It drives civilians crazy around here. But then again, when I was in Europe, that's how you guys say it. And I'm just like, what the hell? You can't even say my last name right here in the US, but everybody in Italy and Poland and Spain and everywhere else I've been can say it perfectly. The hell, people. Demon says he used to work for Pizza the Hut for 12 years. I can't blame you. Never again. I did Burger King when I was a teenager, and it was hell. I still remember having to have somebody punch my spine to straighten me out, and people thought I was going to end up on the ground screaming. I was just going crunch. It was everything was just tight. We've all been there. Or just, yeah. Although you want to hear guys say some weird stuff, wait till somebody's been out in the field for about maybe 2 or 3 days, especially when they got bad weather and they come back and they finally put on dry socks. Holy crap. You ladies listening, I guarantee you'll be in the next room and go, what are you doing? And who are you doing it with? Are you watching the hub? What's going on in there? Trust me, there are a few things in life, especially when you get older, as good as warm, dry feet, especially when you go to the field. I was going to actually do a story on that, but it kind of took a different turn, and it was actually based on more or less trench warfare, where you couldn't actually fire down in through the atmosphere, so everything was down on the ground. Just because magnetic fields, nothing much else. Anyway, where trench foot can really be a real problem. I'm going to actually write this down, trench foot story. I got to go into that. Especially if your alien compatriots have tentacles. Trench tentacle? Ugh, that just sounds, that sounds like something you would find on the hub. Ew. Gross. Okay. Ava says the sleepy owl is awake. Pats the owl. Okay. Yeah. How many licks does it take, Mr. Owl? Okay. Let's see. Caleb says in the comments for your last live chat, I left some extra details for the mountain survival days. Yes, I did see that. I do have them written down. I just haven't gotten through this story. Curious as your thoughts on it. If you already talked about it. No, I didn't talk about it. No worries, Caleb. Absolutely no worries. Oh, excuse me on that one. Whew. That tasted funny. Any case, your idea for the story was good. About 90% of what you put in as suggestions will work. I will say the other 10% won't work with those suggestions. Just a few small bits just don't fly, and that's it. Most everything was good. And when you had the different species, yeah, if you're going into Arctic survival, it wouldn't matter if they're an Arctic species. They're still going to have some sort of protection. I mean, case in point, when things get really bad, You're not going no avian species is going to want to, even if they could fly, they're not going to want to, and they're not going to want to trudge across the snow. Ptarmigan, when it gets really bad, what do? They nestle down really tight and they don't move. They just really huddle down and let the wind whip right over them, and they just wait for the weather to die off. It'll be a little different if you're, out of food and and you have to move to your next checkpoint or else you don't eat. That would really, really suck for them. As far as the reptilian species, it'd all be making sure that suit doesn't breach at any point. Because if it does, there's a reason why you won't find a T-Rex in Antarctica. Not alive. Well, not until the genetic stuff is finally released to us, but that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I was definitely working on that. Where was I? Let's see. Soldier trenches. I know how to counter that. It's ever a party without. Oh, never, never go to a party without Artie. Yeah, and I do have a couple terms in the next chapter coming up. I'm not going to say them now because I want you guys to enjoy the story as much as possible. But I do take a couple lines out of Murphy's Law, which for the life of me, I cannot find in my pile of papers. I don't know what the hell I did with it. But yeah, I do bring out a couple of those. And even if you put them in the chats, I'm not going to say whether or not it's the same one or not. I'm sure a few of you got those. Okay. Demon says, I was a restaurant general manager for 3 years. Oh, sweet love of God. My last year there, I was running four stores, working open and closed 7 days a week, 120 hours a week, being paid 40 hours because salary. I asked for help and got absolutely squat. Got told to shut up and do your job. And well, now I work where I am now. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why quiet quitting is a thing. And I can't say I blame anybody. The only reason I can do what I do and not be restricted on putting out content only once a week, maybe twice, is simply because I'm retired from the Army. That's the only reason. I can survive. I won't thrive, but I can survive on my retirement. Unfortunately, I got royally screwed over in the past few years on that. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's you only thrive if you are an officer. In other words, your knees are wore out and you need more chapstick. That's with officers. So, yeah, figure that one. But yeah, the quiet quitting that a lot of you younger folks do, I can't say I blame you. Because if it's in your contract, you work from 9 to 5, they don't call you up the day before and say, show up at 6. It doesn't happen. There was a pretty interesting TikTok video that made the rounds across YouTube just about a week ago about the same exact thing. And I can't find fault in what this person said. They said, are you going to pay me more? They said, no. He said, fine, I'll see you at 9. You have to show up at 7. That's when the meeting. You're not going to pay me anymore, so I'll see you at 9. And they tried to fire him. I hope that guy or whoever it is sues the living crap out of that company for attempted wrongful termination. And yes, you can sue somebody for attempted wrongful termination. You just got to make sure you have your ducks in a row. Okay, on that one. Let's see. Ava says, ground forces in space warfare. Go to non-orbital shelling. Yeah, you're right. Basic heavy artillery. Yeah, pretty much. The thing with artillery is if they don't know where to shoot, they just don't shoot. They don't just kind of say, fuck up everything over there. That's not how that works. You have a limited number of shells. You got to know where to put them. So, yeah, that's why they say artillery is the king of battle, because back in the day it was. Now artillery, because everybody is so damn sneaky working in small units, artillery can't stop a formation because you don't know where that formation is. Demon says he's much happier now. Well, I'm glad you are, Demon. I'm glad you are. War Sniper says, not stories that make you fall asleep, your normal stories. I listen to them before. Oh, my older stuff. Hopefully the piece of equipment I disconnected doesn't I really got to take those sounds out, but I really don't know how. It doesn't come up every time I review it. I'm like, what sound are they talking about? So anyway, um, hopefully it doesn't wake you up. Let's see. War Sniper says, can you do setting tank or oh, this thing's scrolling like crazy. Tanks or anti-tanks or arty on ships or asteroids would be cool if a story like the humans bait aliens into an asteroid field and they got crossfired by tanks or walkers. Someone, I won't mention who, War Sniper, has just finished watching Star Wars The Clone Wars because they did that. Now, I will say this before you jump on my case on that one. The series I was creating, and I got to get back to it, is with humans, it's always a trap. That was one of the things. You go into you give them any terrain, and humans will find a way to ambush you from it. And if you noticed at the end of if we had known, that's exactly what the Columbra did. Is they used the moons. They hid on the backside of the moon where you can't see them, and then they waited for the right time, and then they came out and started shooting. It's just a way to get you closer. Okay. But yeah, is that viable? Absolutely. 150,000%. Absolutely. That is a viable attack. Having equipment that you can move on and off the asteroid fields is a lot better because then you don't need as many. You just need time to move them from one spot to another. It's very, very doable. And like I said, I got to get back to that one. Let's see. Ava says, been working on a siege tank design that's realistic. I thought by using my telescoping barrel design for it, but it's being a real witch because of barrel pressure. Just need to solve the elevation problem. Now, siege tank, I'm assuming you're talking like War or StarCraft siege tank on that one. Yeah, that always confused me why they just kind of didn't just elevate the barrel itself and use a different type of ammo. Because I mean, you can arc a tank round. I've seen it done, and I don't understand why they over design it. I guess that's just a thing of the series. As far as the barrel being able to be telescoping and then come back with recoil, that has almost absolutely nothing to do with the recoil. That's actually a way of causing a vacuum. So when it goes forward, it sucks all the toxic gas out the barrel so you don't kill the crew. That's what that's for. It has nothing to do with recoil. When an actual like paladin or something fires and you see it rock back, yeah, that's recoil. But the thing is, those things are so heavy, they only rock for a second. We haven't really need any of that, and all the barrels are on pistons anyway, so they're good. Okay. Ava says, Artie, without a spotter, I'm playing Battleship without knowing where my own ships are. As the infantry chuckles. You're in danger. I'm hiding in a hole. Or we're wiggling through the tree line. You don't see us. Yes, I was infantry. And yeah, honestly, there was one story I was thinking about making. You guys can tell me if yes, you want this or not. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of people that consider themselves a specialized force, and I'm not throwing shade on anyone who in the service doesn't officially exist. I've worked with people like that. They're some of the coolest motherfuckers you will ever meet in your life. And they will sit down, they will train you everything you need to know. Just never ask them anything personal or you might get popped in the face. But I mean, they were just really good. But I've worked with the Rangers, and every single time we have just beat them into the ground. I kept finding scouts. I mean, they're like, go find the scouts. I bet you can't find them. I come back 20 minutes later with one of their dog tags. It's like, is this one of theirs? Where'd you find it? He was asleep. I pulled it off his neck. Well, actually, you don't pull it off their neck. It's actually in the back pocket, whatever. But it's crazy. It got to the point where back with the old BDUs, he actually used to have sew on name patch or name tapes, and you would cut that off. Now it's kind of a faux pas to cut that off because it costs so much to get it put back on. If you have the Velcro, it's easy. But the problem is they hear that rip and immediately they shut up. Oh, who's that? We just got mad and we started just zing out the radios and calling it good. But just because they have a title, they think they're God's gift to everything. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. Some of the most highly decorated people we've ever had came from the baseline. You know, we had the Marines, a lot of the Marines over in the Pacific. I mean, they went way up and above what they needed to do. We had plenty of guys in the European theater. You know, you had Audie Murphy and stuff like that, Sergeant York in World War One. I mean, and these most folks earned their awards, and they were in the frontline infantry. I mean, what everybody nowadays calls rank and file. I just think never underestimate. Never ever underestimate someone or you will lose. And that's you notice it's kind of a theme in a lot of HFY. Is oh, these stupid bipeds, these stupid hairless monkeys, they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, what are they aiming at me? Why is my face melting all of a sudden? You know. Okay, let's see. War Snipers jumped in here and says, use a drone that works. We do use drones that works. The best one that works right now, as far as reality right now, is first-person viewed drones. You get a good pilot, and they will bullseye any piece of equipment. I mean, they've been able to actually hit the packs that someone's wearing. Although the problem is those things are very loud. So the reason they hit the pack is because that dude was running away. They knew that drone was in the air. They just couldn't see it because it was so damn small. And they didn't have a big enough piece of kablooey attached to it to kill the guy. I don't know if you guys seen that video or not. If you watch any of the drone videos, you better have a strong stomach. If you don't, just don't. Air defense artillery is the queen of battle. If you're saying that it's married to the artillery, then perhaps. But if you go by the old reference in chess, infantry is the queen of battle because the queen is the most versatile player on the board and the infantry is the most versatile on the battlefield. It's been that way and that will never change. You would have to show me something to show that change. And before anybody says AI, I've seen the state-of-the-art robots. They don't move well enough to go through terrain that we can go through like it's nothing. Okay, Demon says, I went through that. Mandatory meetings on days off and stuff like that. They went after because I would change my clock ins for the meets, and they would be so mad. But I told them, not my problem. Yeah. What a polite way to tell somebody to go fuck themselves. It is so nice of you. So nice of you, Demon, to just, it's not my problem. Bing. Okay. War Sniper said, no, never had that problem. I've seen it a long time ago, Star Wars, but it would be cool to hear it in your stories. Okay. With the Walking on Sunshine with the asteroid field. Yeah. That was actually going to be a major part of the ambush or the trap. It's always a trap. Were the humans here? It's a trap. Which was supposed to be a running gag through the entire story, but it didn't get a lot of views for some reason. Like I said, no, I'm going to put it on here, trap story, so just in case. Why does that nowadays sound wrong? I don't know why. Trap story. Anyway. See. Ultra says, are the general's kids stronger than average humans? Are they like natural born super soldiers? P.S. I love the Sparta reference. Oh, you have no idea about the Sparta reference. Wait till tonight. As far as his kids are concerned, yes, they are physically stronger because their muscle they have much more muscle than an average human in comparison to their size. Reason being is their internal muscles are not set up the same as ours. Not quite. Ours are straight. Theirs are straight and go across. So there's actually a double constriction on that. Why? Because it's a mixing of genetics. Is that going to play into the story? I can't say. But I will say this: they are all double jointed. Every single one of them is double jointed. That's just something they got from their mother, even though they all have two legs, which they got from their father. And, again, one of his daughters has, if you guys look up pictures of snakes, I was actually going through that for references, and they had one of the rarest eye types is that bright, like powder blue eye. And I figured, you know what? This will work. Let me write that down in my notes as I'm writing this down. But yeah, the kids are, yes, they are actually stronger than average humans. By how much? I haven't decided yet. Ava says, no, recoil isn't the problem. The telescoping barrel, whoa, jump in here. The telescoping barrel ruptures when it's extended. When it's fired, basically the telescoping barrel can extend any barrel up to 3 times its original length. Yeah. I got nothing on that. You hit all the points. See, Ava also says, I watch FPV drone videos in VR. Do they come in VR? I thought they just were, the camera on the drone. Or are you actually watching VR and the drone videos playing? I'm gonna assume that's the way it is. The new headsets that they got, by the way, turns out they're a $500 hunk of shit. So maybe they'll come up with something better, something more condensed, and something that actually works. But let's see. Worst Never says, I haven't found a website yet that I don't have to pay to see combat videos. Now, you can find a lot of this stuff on YouTube. It's just chopped really bad. Like they don't show the actual explosion a lot of times, but they will actually show the video, the first person from inside the drone as it's going down, locking in on the open hatch door of one of their goddamn, sorry guys, just had a brain fart on one of their personnel carriers, and they'll actually zoom right inside, and that's when everything goes out, and there's not, the personnel carrier is not there anymore. At least not much of it. But yeah, the live leak and stuff like that's the best place to find them, but I do believe they do charge you. I haven't. Yeah. Ava talking about AI, DARPA AI versus Marines. The Marines won in some of the funniest ways possible. I'm sorry. The dude walked like a tree. I thought that was a joke when I saw the video on that. I was able to get the actual printout, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You walked like a tree? Another guy, one or two guys went and got a box and crawled their way up, apparently laughing so hard one of them cracked a fart off the whole time, and they couldn't get the box off fast enough. One guy's like, oh my god, you freaking, and the other dude's just dying on the floor, just about ready to pee his pants. But yeah, the AI for warfare has a way to go. They're trying to do what the issue is. They're trying to do too much of it. In particular, the Russians, of all things, actually had a schematic. They even had CGI renderings of what one would be. It's only about maybe 12 inches tall by about 3.5 feet wide, and it almost looks like a box. You can actually drop these things in, and they land. It's got a self-righting system on it, and then it goes to wherever GPS coordinate is, and then it raises up a heavy machine gun. Now, it doesn't carry a lot of ammo, but it's got a motion detector on it. And if there's, nobody of your people in that area, you just have to have these things turned on, and they will fire at anything. As long as you're not worried about destroying all the wildlife in that area, it works. The only thing is things like Fleer and all that are very easy to. Holy flying donkey shit. Okay, Hamish, you crazy dude. You're being too generous. Almost. I kid. You guys can be as generous as you want. Okay. Hamish with $50 super chat. New Zealand says, I'm saving up to buy my own house. Very close to having the money for a down payment on a house. Once I buy my house, could I invite you to New Zealand for holiday? Yes, you can. By all means, you can invite me. Whether or not I'll get the time off, that might be a little difficult to do, Hamish. However, if you send the invite, I will gladly take the invite and I will let you know what my schedule is at that point. I only say that because everybody knows the politics of what's going on, and I have a lot to do on this house right now. In particular, the basement has a lot to be done. I got the new pen's got to go in, the new sugar house has got to go in. So if I got time, send me the invite, Amish, and I will let you know what time I got and if I got the money to get over there. I know I will not ask you for a plane ticket. So no. Ceasefire, motherfucker. And yes, that is the hand signal for ceasefire. So if you see that on We Were Soldiers Once and Young, Mel Gibson, when he does this, I'm like, finally, he's doing it right. But no, do not send me a plane ticket. No, don't just please don't do that. I appreciate the super chats. I really honestly do, but I'm not going to sit here and ask you guys to send me a whole bunch of shit. I have a little bit of my pride left. I know it's buried in there somewhere, probably underneath the massive gut. Anyway, thank you again, Hamish. Holy shit. Okay, I saw that coming in, and I always know it's on this. To me, it's on this side right here, and it's right there. And every time that color comes in, whoever super chat, you get the number one spot. So let's see. I don't even know where I was here. Let's see. Demon says, my graduation project in high school, I designed a mobile bunker tank that had tank gun and phalanx on it. Carried a Humvee and 30 troopers into battle and become a forward location. I lost it all. Oops. Yeah, the thing is, thanks to drones, heavy weapons are just a bad idea. It's going to slow everything down a lot, but if you ever seen if I remember correctly, it's called the Switchblade, kamikaze drone designed for the military use. Yeah, things are going to do that. They're going to devolve into that. If you have a static location, they're just going to drop a whole bunch of them. They'll just do what's called a sand table. They'll draw everything out and everyone will go, okay, you get this target, you got this target, you got this target, you got this target, and I got this target here. And they're probably going to say, why do you get the juicy target? Okay, we'll play a game for the juicy target. It's called Rock, Paper, Rank. Now shut up and get your stuff set up. Ava says, it's a trap, and I'm not going to read the rest of that because that's disturbing. Okay. Ultra says, what type of government is Snake are at first? I thought they were like a malarkey, and that's how much I hate that style of government, so that's what I'm going to call it. But it doesn't seem like, can you explain it for us? Okay. The government system of the Snakes. Hold on. Let me get a drink before I do this. Okay. The system is a hierarchy-based system. The elder was the one in charge at that point. The great high grand leader was the one in charge. And by the way, I was going to explain this in a later episode, but I'll just get this out. Okay. He has the final word. However, it's basically, instead of having their version of a president, it's only a Senate type area. There's no house or anything like that. Each of the houses is a family. Family has its own internal structure. Every house has to give a representative to speak for said house. Every said house has its own sector or sectors. They will go in and bring whatever issues in front of them. And once they debate, they can either vote or the great high grand leader can supersede and say, here's what's going on. He is more like a Caesar than anything else. He doesn't get involved with most of it unless there is a necessity to do so, in particular when facing a threat that is stronger than what one house can handle, which is why when 2 house fleets disappeared, he was all about getting his scales involved. He had to. However, because it's a more of a meritocratic growth to be the great high grand leader, there is no actual what's the word I'm looking for? Heretical succession. When that area is vacated, if that area is ever vacated, because here's a hint, the Colubra are indefinite growers. They don't age like humans. They just get bigger. And unless something happens that kills them, they don't die. That's why it scared the crap out of everybody when they found out that the inside of his mouth had been blown apart by a simple handgun. You know, they're like, how the fuck? This is the strongest one we have, the biggest and strongest. So the fact that he croaked and now it's open, there's nothing to hold the houses together to one solid vote. However, that's why all the larger houses were able to pull together so fast and tried to bully the smaller houses. And the smaller houses told them to, quite frankly, go fuck yourself. And that's how it got in that situation. Again, he's more like a Caesar than anything else. However, he does not demand total control, because anyone in that position is immediately told, if you try to get total control and hold on to it, all the houses will immediately start turning against you because they will believe that you are in your own interest. Now, one of the key things, and I got this off of BattleTech because it's required. If you have a system that is anywhere similar to this, that means if someone was to become the great high grand leader, they have to cut all ties with their previous house. For the next several decades, they can talk to absolutely no one of that house outside of a council meeting. Reason being is you do not want to be seen giving favoritism to your old house. If you're still attached to it, again, you're going to have all the old houses coming in. And if you know anything about BattleTech, you know that's how the clans basically tore themselves apart. So I hope I explained it good enough. I had a whole thing. I don't know where it is in my notes, but it's all stretched out to show exactly what was going on. And actually in that was going to be the reason why everything went to shit during that meeting. But that one you're just going to have to wait for. So on that, also, that's just to let you know there, Ultra, that that's the reason why the great high grand leader's kids were on the battlefield. They were trying to prove themselves to be the next one. Because they are his demon spawn, that already gave them a leg up. So all they had to do was honestly survive the battle. If they did, then the eldest most likely would have been elevated. But it didn't work out that way. That's what happens when a couple of battleships decide that you're my target and I'm going to make you hurt. I'm going to put more holes in you than a spaghetti strainer. We're going to use your ship, fill it full of leaves, and use it as a tea bag. It's going to be so full of holes. Okay. War Sniper says, but this, whoa, okay, this thing's jumping, sorry. Russians leave the wounded Russian. I saw 2 Russians leave the wounded Russian behind, sit together under a tree, and a kamikaze drone or a mortar shell hit 15 centimeters in front of one of the 2 Russians, and his head was just gone. Yeah, I seen that. Thanks for Sniper. I'm not going to sleep good tonight. Yeah, that's what happens when you have conscripts. I mean, it is what it is. You got conscripts or people from the draft, and you get the wrong type of person, and they panic. I've seen it happen. I hate the fact I've seen it happen, and yeah, the fact of the matter is, once you've been fired on, somebody sees you, which is why if anybody fired, what normally happens with artillery, and this is for folks who don't know, War Sniper, you probably know what I'm talking about, is when they fire artillery, they don't just fire all the guns in your direction at once. They fire one round to see where that lands, and they're adjusting all the guns at the same way, whichever their forward observer, also known as the fister, lets them know. And then since they're all moving the same way, when he actually does say fire for effect, that's when all the tubes fire. So as infantry, if we ever have mortars or rockets land anywhere near us, we're taking off. We are not sticking in that area because we know somebody close is just scary. No, thank you. I've been on the receiving end of artillery. It's not fun. And the most accurate artillery that fell on me? Mine. Okay? Because some dipshit forgot to tell everybody we were going to be in that area. So the scouts decided, hey, we see people walking around. They look like our people wearing night vision. Maybe we should fire a couple mortars at them, you fucking douchebags. Okay. Before I get totally spun up, let me go. Okay. Ava says, I'll call the cops. We need to help with the funnel. Yeah, okay. I see what you guys are talking about with the drinking. Okay. Ultra says, I would love to see how the snakes would fare against the Gurkhas. Well, they'd have a little bit more trouble grabbing onto them, that's for sure. And that's not a shot. That's just a biological fact. Most people who do that are smaller. They're also, I've actually trained with the Gurkhas. They're pretty cool dudes. They say that when they draw that knife, they got to draw blood. That's not really followed because we actually pulled out one of theirs. I pulled out my K-bar, and we want to see which one would actually cut better. Cutting foliage, that thing is nasty. Cutting arms, that thing is nasty. But if you get in the actual thrusting match, that thing is a joke. It's not designed for it. It's great for what it's designed for, but it's like a katana. It's too specialized in one way. And that's why I kind of laugh. I originally, when the Isekai story came out, I wanted to actually have a samurai versus a medieval knight. That was kind of the original thought process there, and it went somewhere completely different. Because in all honesty, you know what happens? The samurai loses because medieval armor is designed to go against weapons. And a knight's weapons are designed to fight someone in armor. A samurai's weapons and armor are designed to fight against one person with limited skill who does have a blade but is not wearing armor. That's the way they're designed. Because during that time, armor was scarce. I mean, that's just the way it was. I mean, they didn't have metal. They kept covering things with lacquer. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was good armor for the most part. You give me a halberd and I'll punch through that like it's nothing, because a halberd was designed specifically to take down armor. It was a very nasty piece of equipment. So Ava says, only the New Zealanders do cops help with the funnel. You get, oh, geez, we get all you guys together. Oh, good God. I hope you don't have any fireworks because we're going to be watching at each other. Okay, Demon says, I made that thing back in 2008 to 2011, so I don't account for drones. Lol. I made the entire thing in AutoCAD. Oh, I haven't heard of that in a while. Had a file corrupt and then had to redo it all. Didn't have time, so I just remade the shell. Okay, yeah, I could see that. And don't take that one too bad, Demon, because here's the fun part. The Battletech story that I actually have out on the channel, that is the second rewrite that's on there. And I could rewrite the thing over again completely because it seemed like every 7 to 10 years I had to rewrite it because new technologies were coming out. When I first wrote it, I was a civilian and we didn't have a lot of the fancy whiz bang shit that could take down a battle mech, except for a couple of airstrikes where missile tech was kind of just a complete shit show, and artillery. Now, artillery would still be devastating to assault mechs, but you get light mechs and you'll be missing with missiles all day and all night. They're just too nimble. But now you do the rapid dragon and you won't even see it. Your alarm ain't gonna even go off. And next thing you know, your locust is gonna catch a friggin' LRASM right to the face. It's not fun. It's gonna slap you right across the face and laugh at you while your legs are up in the air kicking. Let's see. Ava says the snakes grow till they can no longer sustain their body. That's how they age like an alligator. That's exactly. They age like alligators and crocodiles. Actually, a lot of snakes are indeterminate growers. Like the black mamba will grow well over 20 feet. And in all honesty, what kills those things is the fact that their body is so big, and I'm talking about all of them, that they burn too much energy compared to what they're eating, and it just burns them up. There's no other way of putting that. But yes, that is 100% Ava. You are 150,000 million percent correct. And yes, that percentage is going to go up with all you correct motherfuckers. Don't worry, War Snipers. A lot of things set off my PTSD. In particular, when my nephew used to walk up and poke me in the back, I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. And the same night, I almost punched him in the face. I still feel bad about that. Almost. Didn't actually get him. I still feel bad, though. Let's see. Demon says, I might have a physical file. I printed somewhere. Yeah, I know about somewhere. I'm still looking at my pile of papers over here. But the data, I think, is gone unless my Google Drive has it. Now I have to look when I have the time. Yeah. It is what it is on that. Everybody has something they worked on when they were younger. They want to go back and work on it again. Now, here's the fun part. Give me a second to grab it because you know what? Believe it or not, it's right here if I can get it. Okay. Now, for those of you who are my age, this is going to be a walk down nostalgia lane because you see this type of spiral binder, okay, that actually says confidential on the top. Inside here is the premise to the movie series The Expendables. No bullshit. No bullshit. Let me just open it up and I'll show you what I mean. Let's see. Henchman. Okay. I even have right here. I was using the actual real names. I got Van Damme, Stallone, Arnold, Bruce Willis. You know, and I actually had them written down. The fact that, I mean, I could have run the entire series. I don't think I personally wouldn't have done it as good. It wouldn't have been as fun. It would have been more serious if I was in charge of it. But I mean, it is what it is on that. And sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't. I've got other notebooks I wish I held on to because they had entire scripts. I could have just sat here and read them with slight tweaks, of course. But I mean, it is what it is. So let's see where we go. The snakes would have been terrified in the 40K universe. I think everybody is scared in the 40K universe, Ninja. Everybody's horrified of that. Seriously, there are things out there that will suck your brains out just by looking at you. That's why I did the 140K story I did, which was a total freaking flop. I actually chose one of the more subdued enemies because I didn't want to sit there and say, okay, now we have to nuke the planet. It's just, you know, that was actually one of the kickers. did a story back in the day. One of my first ones was the whole idea. Whole bunch of people were going to get summoned, and they would have to go through their favorite video game. And once they beat the game, they could come back with whatever was theirs, essentially. Whatever they collected, whether that be superpowers, whether that be technology, whatever it was, didn't matter. As long as it was in your possession, under your name, however you want to put that, you could bring it back. And one of the guys was going to freak out, like sit there and like piss his pants because his favorite game is Dark Souls. And you got another one there go like catatonic, and they're like, why? What's your favorite game? Warhammer 40K. I'm sorry. And there are some universes that we enjoy watching that are just horrifying, honestly. But yeah, the snakes would be scared out of their mind. There'd be a couple species there they'd like to eat, though, I'm sure. Let's see. Demon says, how about a combat shovel? You mean the E-tool? Mean the same thing that was a better weapon in World War I than it was at actually digging ground? Yeah. Because those were nice and flat and thin, and they were easy to use in a small area. Let's see. Ava says, I've been charged by someone in full plate and shield based by a full shield based by a full kite shield. It's not pleasant. Mild inclusive stun, plus you end up on your ass. Oh, okay. So you took the hit directly. Yeah. On that one, to be a quote unquote tank, that's what they call it now. For someone who actually takes that hit, you have to know exactly how to stand. Believe it or not, the best people for that, sumo wrestlers. No joke. Seriously, they know exactly. They've been training for a long time to get that really wide base, and they always lean forward to make sure they can actually take the hit. And I've never actually gone hand to hand with a sumo wrestler. I met a couple. I couldn't understand what the hell they were saying. We needed a translator, but they seemed kind of like cool guys. It also says, for the heaviest armor a human can physically wear can weigh up to 300 kilos. That is 660 pounds and still move, given it's fitted and designed correctly. And the fastest you can move is a slow jog. Yeah, that was actually considered the not heavy horsemen or heavy cavalry, heavy armor. But yeah, you could only actually move in that for a couple of hours, and you're completely exhausted, just completely and totally spent. That was tried back. I'm trying to remember which battle it was where they did that, and it worked out great until it didn't. It is what it is. Alter says, it would be cool if you made a character similar to Sir Adrian Corton. Wow. Okay, the unkillable soldier. Okay, I'm going to look at that up. That sounds familiar. Unkillable soldier. Remind myself to look it up. Okay. The only difference is he has cybernetic prosthetics. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like more like 40K to me. Let's see. Demon says, I really don't want to, but I have to leave for work. Well, see you later, Demon. I hope everybody's saying bye to him. I'm tired, but now it's back and I gotta go. Have a good night, everybody. I don't wanna, but he's gonna. All right. Good night, Demon. You have a good night as best you can. And, well, it is work, and work is not spelled F-U-N. Everyone knows that one. Okay. Let's see. Jan says, good morning. Ava says, powered suit armor suits well, max weight, and whatever the ground can handle. Yeah, actually, that's the key. And that's the thing with the Mjolnir armor in Halo. I don't know if you read the original books, but when the armor itself can actually stand by itself. It holds its own weight. The kicker is it actually moves itself as well. All the motors are in there, all the servos are in there, everything you need is in there. And actually, it said, I don't know if you guys remember when the first Halo video game, where after Chief kills Squid Guy, Truth or Mercy or Wicked or whatever that weird looking dude was in the middle of the lake, and he's actually running. That's in the books, and he said he had to actually put the stress of his muscles behind it to try and move faster. He was actually moving at his max speed, which was somewhere around 60 miles an hour. The only thing that saved him was jumping in the water. Let's see. Sniper says, I have made a Lego ship, and it was an anti-Titan class supercarrier that can dock its own fleet from Corvette to Titans to Dreadnought to supercarriers. It's as big as a Keepstar class Citadel. And dude, at that point, it's a planet. It can deploy itself to become a station and is attacked by other Titans by their super weapons and can absorb it and send it back 5 times as strong as it first was. Is that even possible? Is that group of ships blast the enemy ship and the ship absorbs and reflects it back even harder? Can you absorb the shot and fire it back as an energy weapon? Yes, that is absolutely 100% possible. You can do that with today's technology. That's why I kind of laughed when they did that during Iron Man and Thor. When Thor blasted them with the lightnings and the 400% power. Well, how'd you know? All you have to do is put it through the engine, put it through the reactor, and you're good to go. Of course, he didn't have a reactor yet. I'm not going to go into the science of that. There's too much science fiction in that science to really go into it. So, is that possible to reflect back and send it? Yes. Is it, as far as the anti-Titan class supercarrier, if it can dock a Titan, it is no longer a carrier. It is no longer a dreadnought. It is a space station, okay? Or it's its own Titan class. It's that if it's now space stations are able to move. It's just uncommon for them to move. But yeah, when you start going up, everybody knows what a Corvette is. Frigates are purposely designed ships like torpedo or missile or whatever, or anti-cyber warfare, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Destroyers are all around ships for direct combat. They're fast, nimble, but they sacrifice with armor. Cruisers are an upgraded version of the destroyer with more weapons. The only thing they don't have is the massive deck guns of a battleship. If they do, they only carry 1 turret, possibly 2, but they're usually shrunk down. It's basically a battleship that went through the dryer. It's quite literally the class. If destroyers are small and battleships are large, cruisers are the medium, and that's pretty much it. There's no real other way above that. Above battleships, you have your carriers that are designed to actually simply carry fighters and whatnot, and they're more for transporting large groups of small ships. If you have a ship that is designed for other large ships to dock with, that is a dreadnought. Dreadnoughts, just like the one they had in Star Wars, which was based off the B-1 Spirit, that thing was able to dock the other battleships they call Star Destroyers inside, at least a dozen of them. That was a dreadnought. It is a mobile space battle station designed specifically to be mobile, which means it loses a lot because they got to skimp it down. If it's only mobile partial of the time or almost never, it's a space station. If you go bigger than Dreadnought, you are literally only in Titan class. It's why they call it Titan class, is because it's the size of a moon or larger. or I should say size of a small moon or larger. That's how the classes go in science fiction. Now, do some people play with that just to make it sound cool? Absolutely. That being said, each one of these has a specific purpose, a specific definition. That's why I try to not screw with it, because every time I do, somebody's basically chewing me out in the comments section. When I first started out, they had me for lunch, making sure I had it right, especially those guys in the Navy. When I started getting frigate and destroyer backwards, and they're just like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm not a seaman, dude. I wasn't. What? Okay. Let's see. Ultra says, what type of combat gear do humans use? Is like Halo armor or more like modern military? Which humans are you talking in my stories? Because if it's a full exosuit, it's more like Halo. Now, if it's a heavy armor suit, it looks a lot more like 40K, because let's face it, the more armor you put on, the bulkier you are. You can, well, more like StarCraft actually, without the two friggin' flamer shits coming out the back. But yeah, if you hear heavy armor, it's just they're just big and they're bulky and they're just moving around and they're just covered in weapons and armor. The other stuff, like any type of drop unit, that's got to be mobile. You can't have that heavy armor. It's got to be look a lot like ODST. ODST is supposed to be full body armor. It's also supposed to be a downgraded version of the Master Chief's Milner armor. They don't show it that way in a lot of these. They just make it look like it's something you wear. It's not. It's supposed to help you out. Ah, jeez. Whew, you guys got me on a rant here. And I can hear someone out there watching Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Where was I? See, everyone's saying, see you, demon. Might be a story with a techno ninja. Well, techno ninja. Ha ha. You know, ninjas were just assassins, right? They were not warriors. They were also cowards. They what they would do is kill you in your sleep. Because well, I will say they were slightly smart, realizing that they couldn't go toe to toe with the samurai. Even though the actual ninja's preferred blade was the reason why it would drew so fast is because the sheath was about 3.5 feet long, but the blade was only 2.5 feet long. So they actually drew it faster and were able to bring their arm up. That's what made them seem so fast. The reason for that is the back of the sheath was actually used as a club when they needed it. You get more weight on the swing. You know, end up like what's his name, Vision. There, it's like it's tremendously well balanced. You know. Let's see. Good morning. Someone's behind the line. Duck. Let's see. Ava says, in space, electric-based weapons term ion weapon is the riskiest weapon. It's used can shut down or burn out circuits, but if you don't have enough juice, it's just a super. Well, actually, yeah, that's true. But the chances of a brownout are high on those. Is it going to actually shut down the entire ship? Probably not. Not unless you get enough of them, which is the one thing they got right when they started using them in Star Wars. Even though they would not fire like that, they would not fire out of a giant metal booby out of an ice planet. I mean, it's just not going to happen that way. But they had to actually strike them several times for it to work. Even when they did one of the prequels, they actually did a run with the bombers and they had to hit with like a dozen of those ion-based torpedoes just to make one of those battleships short circuit. But yeah, they do got that. Now, the thing is, once anybody realizes you have these weapons, it's actually very easy to counter it. It's almost like being ready for an EMP. And most of the ships are going to be able to deal with that. You have to go something that's actually going to go into the actual circuits, run so much charge that they catch fire. If you can do that, then you do your job. Let's see. Kale says, I thought destroyer is for screening and escort. It can be. Um, Destroyers are used for those a lot of times because they're so fast. What a lot of people don't tell you is in the Navy, they like to drag race with their destroyers. I'm not joking. They drag race with destroyers. What happens is on the back of the screw, the props, they actually turn. They can control the pitch. So what they do is they get them side by side. They rev the engines up. On the word go, they immediately turn the prop so it's at full tilt, and you'll just watch the nose just go whoa down, and that son of a bitch is gone. I mean, they are quick, and when they want to be. The problem is they're not nuclear powered, so they're going to run out of fuel really fast if you do it that way. You're also putting a hell of a lot of stress on that screw, and the chance of you breaking something are, well, they're not super high, but it's there. The reason for escort is that same reason, Kel, is because they're fast. They can break off and go after something, which is why destroyer escorts are what was used in convoys in the northern Atlantic during World War II, is because they move so quick they could actually hunt down and get into position to take out those submarines. Ultra says, what year is the setting in? You mean this one or the if we had known? About 15 years from now. Because you got to remember, I based the invasion off of current technology, the initial invasion of Earth. It would take about anywhere from 3 to 5 years for everybody to realize what they have, get a coordinated effort, get everybody trained, and actually assault. And don't forget, remember the first assault failed. The second assault's the one you hear about where they friggin' just monkey stomped them, went after like a bunch of amphetamine-soaked circus monkeys, and totally just started slaughtering the snakes. There's 5 years. There's another 3 to 5, maybe 7 years where the young lady is being imprisoned. And then you got to figure after that point, she's going to want to mate. And the kids are about 10 years old. So we're locking 15 to 20 years at least from today. So you're probably looking at 2050, 2052, something like that. It's not that far in the future. It's the fact that we stole their technology, reverse engineered it, and said, you know what? We're going to use this to fuck you up. Let's see. War Sniper says, also, the anti-Titan class has its own doomsday, I'm guessing doomsday weapon, and can combine it with the reflect to enhance it, makes its own wormholes. The goal is to destroy Titans and be protected, even though it's strong. You literally are designing a Titan ship to hunt other Titans. That's what I keep seeing. I know you want to call it anti-Titan class, which it is. It's still a Titan class. Nothing gets larger than that. You have a Titan class that's the size of a moon and a Titan class the size of the Earth. They're both still Titan classes. Now their capabilities could be vastly different, but they're both Titan classes. Now from what you're saying, you have a Titan ship that is designed specifically to go, hey, other Titan ship, bend over and try to hold your breath because this is going to hurt. It is what it is. And if they don't, just tell them, too bad, I'm going in dry. Okay, Wargamer says, weak point is its power. It shut down if it used too much to reflect it back. Yeah. Well, that's going to happen with any type of engine, which is why I like to run a whole bunch of small ones in series or in sequence just so I can get the extra juice. Ava says, I've worked on something. You'll like it. It's a Star Fortress shaped ship. Think starfish loads of firepower and defense, but slower than a turtle stapled to a tree and the largest target. Yeah. Okay. You. Okay. That was pretty funny. And you staple the turtle's nuts to the tree. That's funny. Okay. Kale says, speaking of Techno Ninja, did anybody play Warframe? I did not. When that came out, I was kind of indisposed and I never got into it. I never got a copy of the game and I just didn't play it. It didn't really appeal to me either. Let's see. Ava says, Ninja were more accurately thief and spy assassin only when needed. Well, all they did was show up when the samurai were around. They didn't actually go out usually. They weren't actual like paid assassins like we would know nowadays. There's a whole lot to do with the actual era and the society and a whole lot that goes in there. It's a lot to unpack. Let's see. Ava says, I got inventions DARPA and CIA would drool over. Interesting. Anything in the 0 point energy category? You know, if you adjust the frequency, you can make yourself younger. No joke. Kale says, yeah, canonically, ninja are more of a scout spy, and kunai is actually a farming tool. Actually, it is, yeah. Nunchucks, also known as nunchaku, are used for threshing grain. That's where they come from. They're not meant to be a tool. The sai was initially a farming tool as well that somebody altered. And they found out really quick that if a sword is poorly made, you can use that sai the right way to snap it. The problem is most of the swords back then were pretty well made. Once they learned how to fold them, it was really good. Almost everything the ninja ever used was a farming tool. Very little was purposely made. Now, the ground glass in the eggshell, I think, is just mean. He left in a puff of smoke. I saw him leave in a puff of smoke, but oh my God, my eyeballs are gone. You know, it's just like, shit. Let's see. Navy drag racing, fast and fabulous. You've been waiting for me to say that, haven't you, Ultra? You evil. You are evil. Okay. It says War Sniper, the most that can be reflected using physical matter is 95%. And that's if the situation is absolutely perfect. You are 100% right, Ava. You are 100% right. Tell you what, Ava, you're one of those folks that say I get a call from Hollywood and they want me to actually make them a movie that's actually good, you know, before AI takes over everything. I'm going to give you a call because I like the way your mind is. I'm going to call a bunch of you guys. Yes, Amish, you too. Okay, let's see. Turtle. Is that the Teenage Mutant Ninja variety? Kale says the winner will be nominated as the fastest seaman in the sea. Okay. That joke fell. That didn't even get off the flight deck. If you said the fastest seaman in the moist area or something like that, that would have worked. I tried to do a couple jokes on this past one. It was, I had to ditch a few because they didn't land for nothing. When I first thought them in my head, they were really good. Let's see. Abe says, "Don't make me happy, Kale." Hopefully it's Kale. I'm saying it right. Let's see. War Sniper says, my idea was to get this ship and Eve online. Oh, a Titan hunting Titan? You would be the target to take out. Seriously. But here's the kicker. If you had at minimum 2 of them, you'd be unstoppable. Because the amount of firepower you would put out is just staggering. It's crazy. Ultra says, any chance of mechs like Gundams or Jaegers in Pacific Rim? No. Whoa, shit. Okay. Something just jumped up here. What do we got here? Amish, you're back. Holy fuck. You are just like a You are an ATM. What's going on here, Hamish? Make sure you one day call us on Discord. It would be nice to chat with all of us. Yes. Again, that was actually my plan for this week. Unfortunately, like I said, everything just went to complete and total shit. It was just crazy. It's just yeah. Well, and I really got to figure it out here too. That was going to be my thing. I was going to sit back. I was going to watch all the videos, practice it, get all the software lined up, and get things rocking and rolling. And it all went. I do apologize for that. And now it's giving me I can celebrate the 10th super on a live stream. Yeah, oh geez. And Hamish, you're 3 of them just today. Holy shit. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Yes, I watched Grunt speak and yeah. Appreciate it very much, Hamish. Very much. I do. Now back to Ultra. As far as Gundams and the Jaegers of Pacific Rim, it falls down to the square cubed law. Those things, one, they would not move nearly as fast as you're thinking. They would move a hell of a lot slower. I mean, seriously, a lot slower. It wouldn't matter your reaction time, but those things only move so fast due to their mass. And the fact of the matter is, unless you found a material a hell of a lot stronger than titanium or even depleted uranium, the joints systems would not be able to keep up. Especially with the amount of movement the Gundams are supposedly able to do. No. The only time you'll ever see that is if we get something like Ready Player One. And then you can actually do it. Now, the thing is, I laugh at that movie so hard because it doesn't pass the sniff test, especially the final battle. They should have just been able to overrun all the way to the blown up bridge in a matter of maybe a minute and a half. And I'm being nice to the defenders on that one. They should just literally overrun them all. And it's just because of all the firepower and the number that they were facing, it's too much. Okay, where was I? Jen says, they exist today, not 300 years. You mean talking Gundams and Jaegers? Or are you talking Warframe? Warframe is free. Well, maybe I'll check it out. Like I said, I don't have a shit ton of time. Let's see. Ava says, a few 0-point generators just waiting on my Juju to finish up her viral 0-point physics. Hey, that's going to be a fun one. Just be careful when you're adjusting the frequencies on that. From what I read and what I found out about them from people who aren't exactly supposed to talk about this stuff, you spend too much time on the wrong frequency and you can really kind of mess yourself up. You get it on the right frequency, you're never going to feel better. It's just the way it is. Amy says, no, I'm not an ATM, just trying to be very nice to help you out and make sure you store better. Make your store better. Yeah, hey, Amish, I appreciate it very much. I was trying to joke. Apparently my joke just, fell on its face and on its ass and, fell through a wood chipper. I don't know. Discord, you're waiting there well, I won't be able to go tonight. Actually, in a couple of minutes, I actually have to end the stream because, like I said, I don't have a lot of time. Story, which story? Make your story better. Okay. Have you ever thought about making a kaiju story? I have. The thing is, with my seek into realism, I know exactly what would happen. You guys, I'm sure you've heard of rods from God. Once we realize those big bastards are, coming across the ocean, we're just going to target a couple of those, fire like 2 or 3 in a pattern, and they're just going to lance the big bastard to the ground. And if they get a direct hit, they're going to kill it right there. No fuss, no muss, no worry. It's just Let's see. Ava says Jaegers are possible to the point, but Gundams, they have too little material supporting their endoskeleton, and they would crumple under the outlier and their weight. Yes, 100%. Ava again, Titans from the Titanfall series are the closest to actual mechs. Those are exosuits, Ava. Those are not mechs. There's a huge difference between the two. We can build today, but they are a unique class of mech. It's mech-a. It's like saying vehicle. An exosuit can move like a person. An actual mech is a walking weapons platform. The weapons only move if you like turn, and they will go with you. The arms are there for stability and to carry weapons. That's it. They're not something you're not going to high five with a battle mech. It just doesn't work that way. But if you put mecha, you just put an A at the end, you're perfectly fine because that's a general term. Ultra says Ready Player One would be a great concept to add during the general's kids and recruit training. Yeah. Yep. Now with some of the stuff that they wear, I don't know if you guys seen the flight simulators. You put on the gloves and you can actually like hit the buttons and flick the switches and all this other fun stuff. And you actually have a stick and throttle to grab a hold of. A lot of these guys are saying you can actually train somebody to be a pilot 90% of the way before they even look at an airframe. I mean, it's just crazy. And I think that's awesome. I think having AI programs that good to teach people how to be doctors, how to be electricians, how to fly aircraft, how to fix things is fucking awesome. I love it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Make it hurt, drill sergeant. Make it hurt. Okay. It's just, but yeah. Okay. Ultra says simulated combat training. Yeah, well, nothing beats the real thing. I'll tell you that. Kale says there's a Japanese man that created his own functioning mech. I think is his name. Yeah, I seen that. Now, is it the walking mech or the one on wheels? Because if it's the one on wheels, it more or less falls into an exoframe. Exoframes are not exosuits, by the way. Again, there is a difference. Exosuit is a suit. It becomes an extension of your body. An exoframe is something that you move controls and the arms will move for you. A lot of times you're a body pilot. If you look at Avatar, that thing with a big windshield, that's an exoframe. That is not an exosuit. Even though when you walk, or it does move the arms, but your arms are not in the arms. An actual mecha is a much larger, usually humanoid type of machine meant to function similarly to the human body, but with massive differences. An actual battle mech, again, has a very specific one. If you were talking about like somebody says Gundam, you know exactly what they're talking about. Gundam is a type of mecha. So is a battle mech. But they have their own specific areas. So, crap. I think I'm running out of time here. Let's see. War Sniper says, if I go through the CRISPR process, I would be a human with dragon and kitsune features. Okay, I don't think you want to mix dragon with fox. And I don't think it's going to give you the firepower to launch fireballs out your butt or Spitfire for that matter. I think the CRISPR program is some of the most amazing stuff I've ever seen ever. I think their original testing was, well, honestly horrifying. But I think the potential with that is so high. But just like any technology, it's a double-edged sword. It is a very sharp double-edged sword. So you have to be extremely careful. But I mean, seriously, the 0-point stuff can help you regenerate. The CRISPR program will help you rejuvenate. Now, they can both do the other, but not as well, at least from what I've found. I could be wrong on this. And if I'm wrong, somebody please set me straight with proof. Let's see. Ava says Titans unique class as they focus more on versatility. So I petition for my own class named Titan. Okay. That's cool. War Sniper actually continues. Black or with a human with dragon and Kitsune features, and black with one on the blue, with on the end blue and tails and wings. Okay. Blue tails and wings. Okay. That somebody is being a dragon who's fabulous. Okay. All right. Let's see. Ava says Titans use a neural cradle and a basic control features, not an exotic suit based off your definition. Not a Neuralink. It's called Cyberjack. The Titans on Titanfall, it's still, regardless, it's still not an exosuit. It's an exoframe. They could call it a suit all they want. The StarCraft, what they wear, the Space Marines from 40K, the Master Chief from Halo, those are all suits. They do not extend beyond the actual person. They're still wearing it. So again, people can call it a suit all they want. Doesn't mean it is one. Okay. How big is a dreadnought? Big enough where you could park a couple of battleships inside. Depending on each of your universes, that can vary in size drastically. See now. Oh, Dustin's here. Unfortunately, Dustin, I'm going to be running through these last ones real quick, and I got to skedaddle. I'm already starting to get pushing my time here. Ava even says, time for the stream to come to an end. Say bye to everybody. Bye, Ava. Amish, is it possible for you to... Oh, you weren't watching in the beginning, Amish, were you? Yes, there is a video dropping tonight. It is, if I remember correctly, 33 minutes long, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Hopefully I hit all the points without stumbling too bad. All right, War Sniper says, see you next week. Dustin D. In Babylon 5, Way was... Station Babylon 5 about to do heavy damage, several with defective weapons only. What would happen if the 5 station... Okay, I'm wondering if you're putting this on a phone. Okay, I'm having trouble understanding this, Dustin. I don't know. What would happen if the 5 station, if offensive gun or the Clark Fort? Well, if any of them actually had scored a direct hit, that battle would have been over pretty goddamn fast. You're talking Battle of Broken Dreams, I believe. Let's see. Dustin D. Do your Earth ships have a rotating section? No, they have artificial gravity. They do not use that. I try to stay away from that, even though it's the most common you see. Mikhail saying, bye, have a good day, evening, everybody. Bye, Ava and War Sniper from Charles. Bye, Mr. Sin. Mr. Sin Text. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on Unkillable Soldier. I will be looking that up. I have it written around right here. And look who's back. Hamish saying it. He's saying goodbye with his last super chat of the night. He says, my last super, goodbye. Hope your videos become more popular and you're doing well. I am doing well. As long as I don't go through burnout, I should be fine. And I hope you guys enjoy the videos. I really do. Thank you again, Amish. You are awesome. Thank you. Thank all the new subscribers. Thank you, all the new listeners. Thanks you, everybody who has watched tonight. And I will end up seeing you next week. Before I go, here's your safety brief. If you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, kick them right in the ovaries or the nuts. I don't care which one, but you stop them. And you know what? If your judge gives you shit, send them to me. I'll set them straight. Also, if your little soldier's going to the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. If you are listening to these stories and you're laughing too hard, please pull over. I've already had somebody say they almost pissed themselves while driving on one of my jokes. I didn't think I was that funny, but I'd rather not see you guys get messed up over some goofy shit. On that note, take care, everybody. My last drink of the night, my last little bit that's in there. And don't worry, it's soda. And here's to you. Everyone take care of yourselves. This is Syntext. I'm punching out.